Good morning to you as we bring you this gorgeous shot of downtown Phoenix on your Sunday. We hope your weekend has been going great. I'm Jamie Warren. I appreciate you being here alongside us today. There is so much happening around the valley, and we do have a lot of stories to get to. But first, we have to talk about the weather outside because it is spring training. I know we got a lot of games that are continuing today, and right now, as you step outside, definitely put on that jacket as we're sitting at 55 degrees this morning here in Phoenix. Look at that, though, just 43 degrees in Sedona, 34 in Prescott. But as we talk about that baseball weather, it is going to warm up. Our high today is 82 degrees. You're going to want to put on that hat, those sunglasses, maybe even shorts. And it could even get warmer in the week ahead. We're going to talk all about it coming up in that most accurate forecast here in the next 10 minutes or so. We do want to turn now, though, to some breaking news. ABC 15 is at the scene near 51st Avenue and Campbell this morning, where police are investigating a pretty bad crash. We know that could be a pretty busy intersection for you. So right now, details are limited, but our team is still working to get more information in terms of road closures in that area and also the injuries involved in that. So stick with us. We're going to pass along any additional details as they come available. Our team is also getting an update from police this morning on that deadly shooting that happened at a Quick Trip. You'll remember this happened on Friday. This was near 27th Avenue in Thomas. Police now tell us that 55-year-old Naul Hernandez was shot and killed in what appears to be a botched robbery. Surveillance video was used to identify 19-year-old Arturo Vasquez Rodriguez and 19-year-old Isaac Lechuga as the suspects in this. Both were taken into custody and now face several charges, including first-degree murder. As we track some international headlines now for you this morning, the Vatican says that Pope Francis rested during what was described as a peaceful night at the hospital. Now, this update comes after doctors said that the pontiff was in critical condition on Saturday. Vatican officials say that he developed an asthmatic respiratory crisis while being treated for pneumonia and a complex lung infection. Israel says the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners is delayed until further notice. That's according to a statement from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office. His office accused Hamas of repeated violations. Israel was expected to release 620 detainees, including 23 children. The Trump administration is demanding access to Ukraine's natural resources as payment for military aid. The current draft of a deal would require Ukraine to pay $500 billion to the U.S., paid for by taking half of the revenue from natural resources. So far, Ukraine's president has refused to sign that deal because it doesn't promise any security guarantees. Now, all of this comes as Ukraine prepares to mark 3 years now since Russia first invaded and the war between those two countries began. Supporters of Ukraine here in the Valley held a rally on Saturday to protest the war. They say that they are worried that the U.S. will give Ukraine a bad deal when it comes to those negotiations with Russia. Now, they also tell us that they believe sending Russia back home can be done with world support, especially American support. Well, time right now is 5:05, and ABC 15 is keeping tabs on President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. Several senior military leaders are now being ousted by the president, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The shakeup at the top comes as the Pentagon prepares to lay off thousands of civilian workers. The FAA is also being hit with layoffs, including the teams that make maps that are used by air traffic controllers. ABC's Johnny Fernandez has the latest. Meantime, there was a new email that is going out to some federal employees asking them to detail what they accomplished last week. That's according to multiple sources with ABC News. The email has the subject line, "What did you do last week?" and asks employees to list 5 bullet points of what they accomplished and copy their manager on that reply. A spokesperson for personnel management says that agencies will then decide next steps. This follows a social media message from Elon Musk saying that employees would receive an email just like this one. It's unclear if he has the authority to actually fire employees in this way. Looking ahead now, ABC 15 is dedicated to keeping you informed on what's happening in Arizona schools. And happening tomorrow, State School Superintendent Tom Horne plans to take action on what he calls a growing problem of absenteeism. Horne is expected to unveil those plans after the Helios Education Foundation presents its report to the State Board of Education. The meeting will get underway at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you can count on ABC 15. We will be following up on this and let you know what happens out there. We do know that health is important to you, and starting on Tuesday, Abrazo Health will be offering some low-cost solutions for just $59. You can have your heart screened, which could identify the risk of having a heart attack or even a stroke. It'll be offered at locations all across the valley. To find out more, just head on over to abrazohealth.com. Now to a story that is offering some hope for those right here in our community. We know that getting pulled over or maybe having to even speak with police can be stressful for anyone, but for those with autism, it can be an even bigger struggle. And ABC 15's Adam Clapp is showing us how one group is making sure that that connection is a little bit easier.
That's why I keep rewatching the video. I just need to see it for myself. That's what makes it so hard.
Gosh, well, her life just flashed before her eyes while being saved from that burning car. And coming up, our Megan Thompson is speaking with that Valley woman who was pulled from that fiery crash on the US 60. Her message to the heroes who saved her. Plus, calling for accountability after a man was killed inside of a Maricopa County jail cell. The ABC 15 investigators uncover the suspect's violent past. Time right now is 5:16 as we get you going here on your Sunday morning. I hope your weekend has been going great. We are in store for another really nice day here in the valley. This is a look at the temperatures that are outside right now. 55 degrees as you get ready to step out here in Phoenix. Check out what's happening though in other parts of our state right now. It is chilly. We are seeing 43 degrees this morning in Sedona, but look at that. Just 19 degrees in Flagstaff. Now, we are going to warm up, though, today, specifically for us here in the valley, because our high today is 82 degrees. Now, normally for this time of year, we're sitting at about 72, so it is unseasonably warm for this time of year. Not quite yet at the record at 89 degrees. That is some good news for us, but regardless, we are in the mid to lower 80s for today, which means if you plan on going out to any of those spring training games that are happening here across the valley, you're definitely going to want to maybe shed those layers, maybe even put on shorts. I know I had some friends over yesterday. Everyone was in shorts yesterday, which I haven't seen in quite a long time. Let's look at the air quality for today. It is in the normal to moderate range, so that is good, especially if you want to go out and do any exercising as you step outside this morning, maybe go for a hike. But that UV index right now is in the high range, so that means that you'll definitely want to pay attention to your sunscreen usage and have that hat on, especially as you're out and about, maybe hitting up one of those spring training games, as I mentioned, because that's all we're talking about right now, because we love this time of year. Here's what your planner looks like. Again, we're going to dip into the 80s by 4 p.m., but we will be in the 70s at around lunchtime, so definitely patio weather. And then here's that area of high pressure. So this is why we are seeing kind of that warm weather come in here from the West Coast. Let me go ahead, though, and give you a look at that 7-day forecast, because we have quite a little bit in store for us. We're flirting with the 90s. I know we were forecasting potential 90-degree temperatures by Thursday. When I checked the models behind the scene today, I only saw 87 degrees, but regardless, it is still a little bit unseasonably warm. But look at next weekend. We're going to start to dip down just a little bit, so we may have a little bit of a cool down in the near future, but first we do got to get through a pretty warm week for us here in the valley.